Hey, welcome to Instagram Live Club Talk time. This is, hopefully you enjoyed our club, and this is the talk section where we get to just share some truth with you. We believe you should be able to have fun in life, and we believe that it would be a shame to go through life and not connect with the truth. And this is a crazy time. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras going. I got a microphone. I'm kind of having fun with the technology. But this is a crazy time, and the only thing that really compares to it is I remember I was just a brand new staff person. I was on my 11th day of staff, and it was September 11th, 2001. And if you remember that, I lived through it. And it was just a time of confusion. I remember I went up to the high school. This is a true story. And that day I'd watched the planes and all that kind of stuff. And my buddy Charlie Davis came out, and he walked up to me, and I was his young life leader. He said, "Gris." He was looking at me he said, "Gris, what's going on?" And I remember thinking, I think I said, "I don't know, Charlie." And you might be asking the same thing tonight. Gris, what's going on with all this stuff? And it made me think of a story in the Bible where Jesus' friends asked him the same question about something bad that had happened. They said, "What's going on? What's the deal?" And I wanted to take you to it really quickly, and maybe you'll find some answers and hope in this. And this is a true story. It's found in John chapter 9, and it's an eyewitness account. And John tells us this. He says that, it says, as Jesus went along, he saw a blind man who was blind from birth. And his disciples asked him, "Teacher, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" "Neither this man nor his parents sinned," said Jesus, "but this happened so that the work of God might be displayed in his life. As long as it is day, we must do the work of him who sent me. Night is coming when no one can work. While I am in the world, I am the light of the world." And having said this, he spit on the ground, made some mud with the saliva, and put it on the man's eyes. "Go," he told him, "wash in the pool of Siloam." This word means sent. And so the man went and washed and came home seeing. See, this account kind of helps me out because these disciples come up to Jesus and said, "Look at this guy, he's blind. Look at this bad thing that has happened. Why did it happen?" And they were looking for somebody to blame. And Jesus doesn't answer, like always, he doesn't answer the way maybe you're sitting around, "Who should I blame?" Or maybe it's not even about the pandemic. Maybe you're just upset at you've been living with your family for a month. And you're like, whose fault is it? Why is this so bad? Or maybe it's even closer to your heart. It's like, why can't I change who I am? Who's to blame? Is it my fault? Maybe I should just get disciplined. That's usually how we look at problems. We say, who's to blame? What's to blame? What can I fix? And Jesus says, you're looking at it the wrong way. You're asking the wrong question. Eugene Peterson wrote it this way. Jesus said, "You're asking the wrong question. You're looking for someone to blame. Look instead to see what God can do." See, they were focused on the problem, and Jesus said, "You need to focus on me," which is crazy. I'm just going to put that out for you, that's a crazy thing for him to say. To say, you're thinking about this wrongly. It's really about me. It's really about me and what God can do through me. Because if he just said that and then walked away, that'd be really mean. But that's not what he did. He says that, and then he says, "Look, grab some dirt, put it on your eyes, and go wash it away." And the guy goes away seeing. And it's just this amazing, amazing story. And what happens is people all at this time, and you can read it, there's another full, you can go back and read this of what happens after this because it causes such a stir. Because people now, the question changed, not who to blame, but who is Jesus? Who is this guy that would say that, number one, and that could do that, number two? And they actually grabbed the blind guy. And it says it right here. You can read the whole story. And they grab the blind guy and they say, "Hey, who is this Jesus guy?" And he says it's one of the most famous things written in the Bible. And you've maybe heard it before. He says, "Who he is, I don't know. But before I was blind, once where I was blind, now I can see." That's incredible. That's incredible. Right in the middle of all these questions and confusion, Jesus offers clarity, visual clarity to this guy, but also life clarity. The guy says, I don't know, but here's what's totally changed is I'm a different person. And tonight, what I want you to maybe think about is could this happen to you? If you got connected to Jesus in this way, could you become a different person? I was watching a show the other day, and it was this show where they were building this house, and it took them 16 years to build this house, and no one thought they could do it, and it was this crazy deal. And the host of the show came up and he said, at the end, he said, every miracle takes faith. Every miracle takes faith. And this blind guy had just a little bit of faith. You know, they came back and they asked him, you know, who Jesus is, and he didn't know. But so Jesus came back and wanted to grab him. And after they had thrown this blind guy out, because they were so mad at him, they threw him out. And Jesus came and found him. And he said this. It says, Jesus, this is in verse 35. It says, Jesus heard that they had thrown him out. And when he found him, he said, do you believe in the Son of Man? And the guy said, well, who is he? And he said, tell me so that I may believe him. And Jesus said, you have now seen him. In fact, he's the one you're speaking to. And the man said, Lord, I believe. And he worshiped him. You know, we're in this amazing time, just a crazy time. And I don't know what you're focusing on. You might be focusing on who to blame. You might be angry. You might be lonely. You might be sad. You might be grieving. But I would challenge you tonight, maybe just for a moment as you're going to sleep, or as you're turning your pillow over to the cool side, or brushing your tooth tonight, is maybe take a look at Jesus. You know, he hasn't changed. 20 years ago, I gave these same messages in the midst of all the confusion of 9/11, and it hasn't changed. That he is the one person that can create a miracle in your own life. And so here's my two questions to you tonight is who do you think Jesus is? Maybe you've given up on this. Maybe you're like these guys that say he's an imposter. That's what the religious leaders say. He's an imposter. He can't answer our questions. But this guy who was blind said, I believe he's the Son of Man. Who do you think he is? And number two, if this is who Jesus is, what we just read, this eyewitness account, so important that everything, even bad stuff, becomes dim next to him, wouldn't he be worth believing in? Wouldn't it be worth considering what he could do in your life? Hey, that's all we got for you. What we're going to do is something special, is that if you have any questions about any of this, you know, I know this is a short time. I'm trying to keep it under 5 minutes. I don't know how I did. If you have any questions, we're going to have just a question box, and you can ask questions. We won't, you know, it'll be anonymous, and maybe we'll do another video and answer some of your questions about this kind of stuff. But thanks for sticking with us. We're looking forward to doing some great things. See you guys next week.